Hello one and all, and welcome to the Math Magic Show. In this one we're going to take a look a bit more deeply into factoring. I'm going to explain what the reason is for why it works a particular way, and not just show you examples how to factor. There are a lot of videos on that already. Please do keep that in mind. So I have y plus 2 multiplying y plus 4. We're going to FOIL that out, and I'm going to keep careful track of the red 2 and the green 4. As a place to begin, what we can do then is the following. Let's apply FOIL. So it's going to be y times y, which will give us y times y. Then I'm going to have y times 4, which is 4y. And notice that the 4 is green. So I'm going to keep track of the color coding here. It's meaningful. And then after that, we'll have the following next. So I'm going to do 2 times y, which is plus 2y. And then 2 times 4, which is 2 times 4 at the end. And now let's gather the terms. So the y times the y, that's the first term there. That's going to look like this. So it's going to be y squared. Now, 4y plus 2y is going to give us 6y. And lastly, 2 times 4 is going to give us 8. So I just went from this y plus 2 multiplying y plus 4 using FOIL, and I switched that over into y squared plus 6y plus 8. And if you look very carefully, there's clearly a relationship, which is the following, that this number in the middle there, the 6, that is the result of adding the green 4 and the red 2. And the 8 is the result of multiplying the green 4 and the red 2. Keep that in mind. Let's do this in a more general case now. Take a look at what I mean here. So imagine I have now y plus a multiplying y plus b. So the a and b are constants. They represent different possible numbers like 2 and 8. Or 3 and 4, whatever they happen to be. We use these, remember, because we don't want to deal with specific cases. Letters are more general, more flexible, and they work pretty much in all cases. So you just develop your formula or your concept one time, and then you can plug in specific numbers. So let's take a look here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with FOIL. So it's going to be the same as before. Y times y, which will give me y times y. Then I'm going to have y times b, which will give me plus by. Then I'm going to have a times y, which will give me a y, and then I will have a times b, which will be a times b at the end. And now, as before, I clean this up a little bit. So let's do that next. I have y times y, which is y squared, and I have, let's think about that next step a little bit. So above me, as you can see, I have by plus ay. So I see there that the y with the b and the y with the a is basically a common factor, which means that the step below me, notice that the y has been factored, and I put the b plus a within a parentheses. And I'm doing that on purpose because it's stressing something very important, that the sum of whatever a and b is becomes the coefficient on the y in the middle. Okay? And lastly, the a with the star b, normally that's just written more compactly as ab, which means a times b, of course. So if you looked with this carefully, there's a pattern. Let's look at the pattern. It basically says the following. On the left side, I have y squared plus b plus a, y plus ab. So on the left side, that basically would be a trinomial, okay? Whereas on the right side, what I have essentially is y plus a multiplying y plus b. That would be the factored form of the trinomial. And these two forms are interchangeable. In other words, what I mean is you can go from the form on the left to the one on the right. That's factoring. Or you can go from the form on the right to the one on the left. That's called FOIL. So let's take a look at an example of what I'm doing here. So I have here y squared plus 7y plus 12. So the goal is to take this trinomial, write it in factored form. So how do I go about that? Well, I can observe some key pieces of information. So the y squared stays, and I observe that the 7 is really 3 plus 4. And the 12 is 3 times 4. And look at the color coding carefully. So you see that the 3's are in green. It's the same 3, in other words, and the 4's are in red. So once you recognize that fact, that the coefficient on the y is 3 plus 4, and then the last term can be written as those same numbers multiplied together, then you can just write the whole thing in factored form as follows. I'm going to put y plus, and then here I will say 4 multiplying y plus 3. That is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. I hope this has shown you something interesting and useful, and perhaps some new angle on something. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in another video.